Cloud. All right. Good morning and happy Friday. Friday, March 1st, 2024 already. Can't believe that February is gone. Now we're into March 1st. So I have the privilege of having this young talent giving us some insights to his career, his business, and ultimately his humbling experiences, where he is now. So, Jamie, how you doing, my man?
I'm well, Simon. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So we have Jamie Ambrose with the South Bay office giving us some insights to his passion about real estate and ultimately, what drives him each and every day. So without further ado, Jamie, how are you?
Good, good. Good morning,
Awesome.
everybody.
So good to see you and have a quick conversation with you. So, Jamie, tell us a little bit about your path into real estate.
Yeah, so let's see. So I actually began my career right before COVID. So maybe 2 months before COVID had that mandated shutdown, I got my license. Um, it's been a challenge for sure. I mean, let's just say my first year, I didn't sell anything. It took me until 2 years until I actually closed something.
Really?
Yeah.
So, 2 years. But did you give up? Did you say, well, maybe real estate is not the path for me? Because 2 years seems a little long for a lot of us to continue doing what we need to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I didn't. I mean, to be honest, I did maybe no joke like 500 showings, and these are all lease listings. And at the time, since we had that mandated shutdown, we had to fill out those PED forms. It was just complicated. And even until then, I still didn't even close a lease listing. But it wasn't until I met my I guess ex-partner
Mhm.
is when my business actually propelled.
Awesome. Wow. So did I hear this correct? You said after doing 500 showings, you still didn't get any results? How
That's
was
correct.
that? That must be a little bit of a frustration for you.
Oh, that's yeah, frustrating. Yeah, that's an understatement for sure. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is where having a strong why is so important because I just had to remind myself, why am I doing this? And then I look back and then just kept on going. So
Yeah, and that's all we can do, right? Is just
yeah,
continue pressing forward. So your first year, your second year, you didn't really see results. It was into your actual third year is when you started seeing traction and momentum in your business.
that's correct.
So tell us a little bit of that journey.
Yeah, so you know, I think things happen for a reason. It was just perfect timing, as they say. So, a friend of mine, he actually put me and my ex-partner together. She just got a real estate license as well. She was pregnant at the time, so we kind of like established like a relationship to where I do the showings and then she'll handle all the paperwork. And then from there on, it just became like a cohesive relationship. And then it just worked like that. And then soon enough, business started flowing like a snowball effect.
So tell us your first transaction. Was it a lease? Was it a buyer? Was it a seller? Tell us a little bit more about that experience.
Yeah, so when you first get into real estate, you target your sphere of influence first, right?
Hmm.
So what I did was I just contacted, you know, 50 people that I know that would buy because they're close friends of mine and family members. I just stayed on top of that, and then I ended up getting a listing from a close friend of mine. So I represented the seller on that end.
Okay. Was it an easy transaction? Was it difficult? Did you have any obstacles, or was it a smooth transaction?
Man, to be honest, it was my best friend at the time, so it was a little. I was surprised because of our relationship. So
Hmm.
long story short, he was withholding some information, and he let me know last minute about what it was, and he wanted me to be unethical about it, and then I kind of like got into an argument with him. but we ended up closing. I still let the buyer's agent know what it was. But I think our friendship just kind of went south after that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You just never know. Every transaction is unique in itself.
Yeah,
And
for
more
sure.
so, the fact that you had a relationship with this client of yours, right? It makes it
Yeah.
even difficult, right? Because I think all of us have been there at one point in time, right? Where we work with friends, families, colleagues. I know I'll be the first to admit, I mean, I work with so many family members, colleagues that I have relationship from the good to the bad, right? But it just gives us a perspective, right?
Hmm.
That we always have to do the right thing, regardless of what relationship we have. So, thank you so much for sharing that. So
Absolutely.
what was your sales production last year, your gross sales volume last year?
I think it was around like 5 million, maybe 5, 6 million.
Okay. So that's from 2 years of no productions and then 2 years actively now getting momentum and traction in your business. You were able to capitalize on that opportunity by working your tail off, and now the end results of a little over 5 million. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, what is the goal this year?
The goal this year would be 20 million.
20 million. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to push you. Definitely push you.
Yeah.
And we're seeing results already. Again,
Yeah.
and looking at the bigger picture of everything, right, is you have to have that vision. So tell us what motivates you on a daily basis. What keeps giving you that momentum to keep pushing forward.
Yeah. So there's a few things. So you have to have a strong why. You have to have a goal board. And then for me, I have my faith. So, with those three things, three components, that's what gives me like the motivation on a daily basis to push forward because anyone that's in real estate right now knows how challenging it is. I mean, business is hard to get. You have to work 10 times as harder. But that's why having like a strong why in place and then a reminder of why you're doing it is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So why real estate?
That's a good question. I mean, I like to help people, but everyone likes to say that. So before I was I had my own business. I had a vape business. So I wanted to transition into something to where I can still buy some of my time and make a good amount of money, if that makes sense. Because I wasn't made to be a worker. Like I have to have my own business and I have this philosophy on, I think it was by Jim Rohn where he said, profits are better than wages. And that really resonated with me. So like what better way to, I guess, get that satisfaction of helping people and at the same time getting paid.
100%. I like that quote. Yeah, definitely resonates with me as well. So that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your team. Do you have a
Yeah,
team?
I do. I do have a team. So I work with two title people and I have three solid lenders that I work with, depending on everyone has their own specialty. And then I have a few buyers agents that I kind of work with too.
Okay. Awesome. Tell us and collaborate with us a little bit of what that looks like. The what why do you have that team in place and what's the benefits from that?
Yeah, so ultimately, when you have a team, you leverage a lot of your time. So I still have my ex-partners. I mean, I call her my ex-partner because we kind of severed our, I guess, partnership. And then she still has some of my team members on her team. So I kind of leverage them. And I leverage other agents from their different offices to, I guess, help some of the buyers that I have.
Mhm.
And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to continue to capture more business. Because if you're showing, you can't be at two places at one time. So if you have showings in Hollywood and then you have showings in Torrance, there's no way you can do both. So what
Right.
better way to leverage other agents to help you conduct more business?
Yeah. And then tell us a little bit more about the title company.
Yeah, so I think working with the title company is super important because they actually help me find um, a lot of my leads. So I work with Fidelity National Title, and they send over the cities that have the highest turnover rate. So that's generally what I use to get more listings.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more, conversion rate. What is
Yeah,
that? So you look for areas that there's a lot of activities and then you farm that area?
correct.
Okay. So, and what do you do to farm the area?
Yeah, so I have this little system in place. It's like a 7-point touch system. So what that includes is a pre-listing package, like a seller's guide, and then I have like an order. So I send that one day, and then I send the CMA displaying the value of the property another day. And then this is on a 30-day basis. So um, and then on the third one, the third touch is I create a website for them, like a generic website. It's like a lead capture page, and then I create like a flyer as well. And then the fourth one would be school information around their area. The fifth one would be a letter to why working with me it would be a better solution than any other agent. The last one would be testimonials, and if they don't contact me within that time frame, I send them a follow-up letter, and then I kind of just put them on a nurture list and then contact them in a month.
Beautiful. So you have a system in place is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And what is the conversion rate that you're looking at? What is the percentage? Is there a specific number percentage wise that says, okay, this is the little area that I want to focus on because there's a lot of turnover, or you just base it on trends?
Yeah, so with this system, I actually target expireds because there's a motivation already. So they basically wanted to sell, but they couldn't because of multiple factors, because they either priced their home too high, their agent didn't market it good enough, or something else. So you have to find something. For me, it's like I want to find something to where there's a need already, like either a kind of like a distressed situation, or there has to be a need in order. You can't really ask for business. It'll be a little harder, like to do like a cold call in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's important because that's what drives production, right? It's the money-making activities that we do, right? That leads us to opportunities. If you're not out there hunting for business, then your return on your investment is not going to be the results that you want, right?
That's
You
correct.
definitely have to every single day be out there doing the necessary activities, right? And that means talking to more and more and more people every single day.
Yeah.
You got to see their motivation, right? Because they may not be motivated today, but they'll may be motivated in a month, 2 months, a year from now, and you just got to stay consistent in what you do, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I
awesome.
agree.
So let me ask you, and I'm gonna hit the core on this because I think it's important for the audience to kind of know. Um, so what drives you every single day? What's the motivation, that I see you in and out consistently in the office doing the activities? What's the passion around that?
Yeah. So my why is what you're referring to.
Correct.
It would be my mom. It would be my mom, I would say. So I'm gonna get a little vulnerable here, but growing up, I grew up in a less fortunate environment. Um, my brother just passed away, and my mom was working 3 jobs, trying to just take care of me. And seeing that, you know, I wanted to, I wanted to flip the script. So now she's taken care of me her entire life. I think it's my duty to now take care of her, if that makes sense. That's what drives me. And every time I get tired, or a client upsets me or anything, that doesn't really matter because my why supersedes all of that.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you for sharing. It kind of resonates with me as well. my biggest drive and why I do what I do is because of my upbringing. I was in privy to a lot of things. And I came from a broken family too. My parents at the age of 9 decided to divorce. So I had to make that difficult decision in who I wanted to stay with, and I chose to stay with my mother. And I saw the hustle my mom did, growing up, having three
Hmm.
jobs, working at the school district in the mornings,
Hmm.
selling door-to-door comforters in the afternoons. And then on the weekends, she would go to the swap meet and sell items. So it was like a 7-day job for her. But that was my motivation. At the time, I didn't know, I didn't know, why she was doing what she was doing, as a young kid. But
Hmm.
the more I saw it as I transition into being a teenager and a young adult, it didn't at the time make any sense, but ultimately it definitely gave me the core value of working your tail off. And to this day, I don't stop. And for a lot of us, we have those similarities and characteristics, right? That we just continue going. We're like the energized bunny, right? We just keep going and keep going. But that's what sets us apart, and the driving force of what we do on a daily, right? Is if you really truly want it, it's yours. You could definitely have it,
It's
as
true.
Eric Claudia would say. But it gives us a perspective of why we chose to go in this path of what we call real estate, right? Because real estate has so many open door opportunities. You just never know where your next transaction is going to come. And that ultimately gives us the driving force to just keep going for more and more and more, right? Because one day you can have a conversation with someone that says, look, looking to buy a $5 million home, that's going to be a good day, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
we
absolutely.
that's what we strive every single day to hunt and find that right opportunity, right? And like I always say, you're going to get a lot of no's before you actually get someone that says, yes, I'm ready to buy, sell, and invest, right? But that's our job, is to go out there and do the activities that lead to those opportunities, to those appointments, and then writing those contracts, right? If it's a listing aspect of it or a buyer aspect of it, right? And more so, right? And I think you and I were chatting a little bit about, you know, what are we going to be focusing on more? And you said, I want to focus on sellers. And tell us why you want to focus more on sellers.
Yeah, so I think with the whole NAR commission thing, I think the real estate industry is going to change, and I don't know if that's going to be for the better, for the worse. So, in order to get in front of that, all you have to do is just work with sellers.
Yeah, that's
So
that's so true. I mean,
yeah,
it's still early in the beginning stages, but you got to start
yeah,
preparing now for it, right? Because what
yeah,
if? And I'm already hearing, and I don't know if it's true, but I'm already hearing that on the MLS, there's agents that are already putting no compensation.
really.
Hmm.
Oh man,
So that's gonna be very, very interesting, right?
yeah,
But does that mean that real estate is not the path? No, we just need a pivot. We just got to do what we need, find the avenue of solution, right?
hmm,
And this is going to give you the driving force to go after more market share, right? Work with more sellers that are willing to compensate us.
it's true.
So awesome. So I know we touched a little bit of your upbringing, um, your real estate path. What does your marketing look like? What do you do? You told us a little bit of the process when working with sellers, but do you have any other marketing that you do to generate opportunities?
Yeah, so whenever I have a listing, I try to leverage the listing to get more business. Um, and then when I close a listing, I send postcards. to the surrounding areas, and I door knock in the surrounding areas. And then I make calls. So anytime I have, pretty much I leverage my listing because that's the best way to get business because people see that you're doing business and in their minds, they're like, all right, he's doing business, so he must be doing well. So your reputation is a lot, I guess, it's conveyed as a lot higher. Like they put you in a pedestal because you're doing business, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. So what you're telling me is that there's no magic pill, right? Here's the pill. Take it. You're
Yeah,
gonna sell these listings, right?
that's true. That's true. I wish I had a magic pill and I wish I knew the formula, but I'm
Yeah,
still trying to find out to this day how to get more business and I'm it's tough. You know, I'm having a hard time. I'm making the calls, doing, doing the work, the door knocking. There's only so much you can do.
yeah.
But ultimately, I feel like the best thing you can really do is build deeper relationships with people, and then that would translate to more business. So that's what I think that's what works best for me is whenever I get a new client, I usually have a coffee meeting with them, and then I get to know them, and if we click, then we work together. If not, then I move on. It's not the end of the world. It's just creating deeper relationships is important.
100%. And I always say, it's all about the connections, right? Because people will
Yeah,
do business with you when they like you and trust you, right? And
yeah,
that's just the given and what we do in real estate. I always say, real estate sells itself. You're just there to connect the dots and put the deal together. But when I hear agents, well, I don't know how to sell real estate, I say, well, you're not selling real estate. You're selling yourself.
it's true.
You're the brand that ultimately drives people to want to work with you, right?
Hmm.
And that's important to build those deep, deep relationships because you're relying and depending on future business, right? Because the opportunity for you to capitalize is, yeah, I want the sale now, but what if that sale in the future, right? The buyer that you put into escrow closed the deal, ultimately 3 years from now decides to upgrade and buy a bigger home, right? Or move to a better desirable area, right?
Hmm.
If you stay in connections with that client, what is going to happen? They're going to call you, hey, I'm ready to sell my property. Hey, you also can help me with the new purchase as well. So you're making, two commissions from it as well. So it's how you work the system, right? How you
Absolutely.
uh, how you stay in connections, right? And having a good platform, right? That will stay on top of your clients, right? Because we utilize command we should be using command at a very high level to if you don't have any other platform, right?
Yeah.
To really drive more opportunities for you. So
I think that's really important now that you mentioned that is having a CRM that you can automate your business because the follow-up is super important. Like, you've been following up with this one person, let's say for 10 months, and then you forget to follow up with him 1 month, and then he ends up buying like a $10 million house. So it's one of those things. It's follow-up is important. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you do any open houses other than just lead gen, or do you stay just focused on lead gen?
I used to, but I think with the whole NAR thing, it's swaying me away from being a buyer's agent, if I'm honest. I just I have a lot of buyer leads right now. It's just I, for me it's they don't really respect our work. It's like you help them and then I don't know how many times where they work with another agent after showing them so many properties. So that's why I'm kind of like shifting gears and then focusing more on being a listing agent because I can control the transaction.
Can I interject something?
Yeah,
Jamie
of
and I were
course.
were having a you and I were having a conversation about this at the office the other day, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember.
and I don't know if you want to share, man, but yeah, what are you doing with buyers right now, bro? What are you telling them? You're telling us something really interesting.
Yeah, so I was talking to Eric the other day, and what I've been implementing was charging 1% for all buyers. Have I lost a lot of buyers like that? Absolutely. But for me, it's like my time is worth at least this amount. And I'm just setting them up because if the whole NAR commission thing passes, 1% is still going to be small. We're going to have to, we have to start charging 2%, but I'm just setting them up now. So like, it's ingrained in their brain, like, hey, so I guess we're gonna have to start paying a buyer's agent. So that's the way. That's how I feel like we should be doing. As agents, everyone should be charging something because your time is more valuable. That's how I feel about it. So
No, thank you, Eric, and thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and this is the reason um, I'm so passionate about, the contracts because, it's vital. Your
yeah.
your time is very valuable, right? And I'll be again the first to admit when I started my real estate career, someone just said, I want to buy, I would be excited, right? Jump in the car, start showing properties without really qualifying the client, right?
Hmm.
It's times that I just wasted so much time and energy on people that unfortunately did not qualify, or like you said, went in a different direction with another agent, right? And it's a frustrating process that, you put so much time, effort, and energy on someone, and they end up buying with someone else, right?
Hmm.
So, it's not a mandatory as of yet for a lot of real estate brokerages, but at one given time, as we progress through the year, it may be for a lot of real estate brokerages that we utilize the mandatory buyer representation agreement as part of your checklist of items that you do when working with a buyer. Now, again, just like you said, we don't know where NAR and all of the situations when it comes to the buyer compensation, right? It's going to lead us, but we need to be prepared for it because we just don't know, right? What if now sellers are getting, more sophisticated? Is like, yeah, why should I pay? Even though we all know that that's not the case, right? The negotiation starts from the listing agent, the seller's agent, right? That
Hmm.
ultimately agrees to a certain commission percentage. And then the brokerage that has the listings will split part of that with any cooperating broker as part of the compensation. And that's where I think a lot of people are misled or don't know that it's not that the necessary seller is paying the commission. It's really what the seller and the agent negotiate, and then part of that negotiation and split of that commission goes to the buyer's brokerage. So it's knowing how to educate the clientele, right? Because what if that happens? How do we navigate compensation? Because no one's going to want to work with buyers anymore, right? Why would I want to
Hmm.
work with a buyer where I'm not going to be able to get and earn a commission, right? So it's going to be interesting. I don't
Yeah.
have that crystal ball and what that looked like, but does that change anything right now? No. You just continue doing what you need to do, right? Work with those buyers, work with the sellers, because there's still opportunities with buyers, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and just to kind of close on that is, the importance is now you should have that as part of your process is have those buyer representation agreements, even if it's a very small percentage that you charge the buyer, right? Well, at least it pays for your time. Eric.
I was thinking about our conversation, Jamie,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get creative. Like, what if you charge the buyer up front, like hourly, right, or something like that,
Hmm.
and then and like a deposit, then maybe per showing or per hour, and then when if you close escrow with them, you can rebate them. I don't know if you can do that, but it'll commit people. I was just thinking about maybe something creative like that. Get people committed, put some money up front, and then if it actually closes, obviously you got to be smart, put the money aside. If it
Yeah.
obviously closes, then you can rebate them. You know what I mean? I don't know, an idea.
I think that's a pretty good idea. So when you say rebate them, how much are you going to be charging, like up front?
Well, say you charge them two, $3,000
Okay.
to hire you, right?
Hmm.
And then you charge them maybe, I don't know, $100 per showing or something, or something like that. And then at the end of if we actually close the transaction, you grab that money, you put it aside. When they pay you, if you actually close the transaction, then you get your commission and you pay that back to them. I don't know,
You know,
just an idea, because
and let me pause you for one quick minute, Eric. I mean, that would be a great segue to have a role playing around that. I would be intrigued on what that would look like if you were talking to me about that as a buyer. You know how I would answer that question, but I like it. I like it
Yeah.
for your fact as a role playing script position. You know, how do we articulate our value proposition, right? So no, it's a great conversation. Again, we don't know where all this is going to lead us, right? So thank you, Eric. Just a final thought before we close. Any final thoughts of you'd like to share with the group? Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So just to recap, and any final thoughts before we close out the session? You know, what big nugget can you give us?
Well, me?
Yes.
Oh. Big nugget. Work hard. No. Let's see. So I would say find your why, create a vision board. Um, and remember, a lot of people are leaving the real estate industry right now. So whoever's still doing real estate is going to be on top. So just remember that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, Jamie. It was an awesome session. You know, your humbling experience and true nature of what you do. You know, stay focused, stay dedicated, and always have the why around, you know, your business. So again, thank you again. I appreciate you, and let's crush it for 2024.
Thanks for having me, Simon. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Likewise. All
Take
righty.
care.
That concludes our producer's mindset. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. And remember, March already is upon us. Take care.
Bye.
thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Simon.
Bye.
Thank
Later.
you.